Hey there. Today I'd like to share what I believe is one of the most important lessons I've ever been blessed with in my life. It's a piece of wisdom that really brings a change in the way you live your life and improvements in many immeasurable ways. Many years ago, I had the opportunity to spend some time learning from a truly enlightened master. And during that time, I had an opportunity to ask questions. One of the questions I asked was as follows. I explained that through many years of meditation practice, I'd found that during the time when I sat, I could raise my consciousness. My awareness was fully focused, it was fully engaged with a very strong sense of heightened awareness, skillfulness, and application. But I hadn't found a way to bring this more enlightened consciousness into my day-to-day life. And thus I asked how to do this. My teacher didn't need any time to consider, but just spoke instantly and freely. He said, "This is a very easy question to answer. Simply focus on one thing at a time with full dedication." This was a very interesting answer, which I contemplated for quite some time afterwards. But it wasn't through contemplation, but through application that I realised what great wisdom it contained. When you make a conscious dedication to fully engage with each and everything you do, you start on a path of discovery and of enlightenment. To begin with, the first blessing that you will receive is empowerment. You've probably noticed that in life, when you have a target and you practice aiming for that target, you naturally get better at it. So every time you let your arrow loose or every time you throw a dart, it gets closer to the bullseye without you even consciously adjusting much. And the same is true when you start to fully engage with each task you have. And it's the tasks that you tend to start with on this path. So when you're answering emails, when you're cleaning the house, when you're driving, these are the kind of things that initially you manage to bring more of yourself into. This drives away any distraction or bad habits that you may have had. And you'll find that you're applying more of your existing skills and strengths to what you're doing. You'll also notice your errors more, and you might be surprised how you've been doing the same thing that hasn't worked again and again. And thus, making these changes and opening your mind to new opportunities, you start to be more efficient. You start to make that template for the email you answer every week. You start to tidy up behind yourself when you go around the house and put things in a specific place. This beginning stage, when you just get better at individual tasks or missions you have in life, is a transformational awakening in itself. You see, improvement in one thing starts to lead to an improvement in another. So when you make a conscious effort to be better at chopping the vegetables when you cook, the same precision starts to move into your writing, or how you would hold your sword for your kendo or your fencing. When you truly try your best to be eloquent and persuasive to people, this also allows you to open up your awareness of emotions and what's going on, so you get to see the bigger picture more. Likewise, that awareness you have when you're proofreading something you're going to be sending off, and that new attention to detail allows you to be more aware when you're in the outside world and wanting to stay safe. All these different things start to combine in very interesting ways you wouldn't really be able to notice, but they're stronger than the sum of their parts. So a new sense of improvement on all levels starts to appear. When this comes, a different form of empowerment appears as well alongside it. Instead of just thinking about things you do in terms of your job or your hobbies, you start to think about all aspects of life. When you sit down to eat a meal, are you fully engaged with trying to feed this body with what it needs to be healthy, to heal, to thrive? When you lie in bed ready to rest, are you fully engaged with resting? Are you resting to the highest ability? When you play with your children, when you engage in any activity in life, are you fully there? And this means that you start to live on a different level, and everything will start to improve. So when you rest, you really rest. When you work, you really work. When you make love, you really make love. All these things start to light up, and it's like a sun lamp on your soul, improving you on all levels. Then you start to see the next blessing. The empowerment starts to lead to an improved clarity and awareness. You start to find that you can see why things don't have the outcomes that you're aiming for, both from external situations, but also more importantly from within yourself. So, sometimes you will be surprised how your goals are divided or confused on things. Could it be that you've discovered a certain circumstance where you've been deliberately holding yourself back because you don't really want the results of success? Could it be that there's some aspect of yourself which isn't on board with this goal? Maybe there's a rebel against how things work or the people involved. That means that you're actually really trying to sabotage what's happening in some way by really making a faint-hearted, deliberately ineffective way of doing things. Perhaps you start to realize that there were some problems with how you view yourself or how you want to be viewed, which get in the way of you acting or undertaking a task in a particular way which would lead to an improvement or success. Perhaps you just find you've got mixed goals and you're not sure what you're really wanting in this situation. This clarity, where you start to realize where your mind has been divided, where you haven't been fully on target, brings a new sense of awareness. As you start to become more engaged and more aware of the reasons why you sometimes have in the past lacked full unified commitment, this brings an observation of the same qualities in others. And you start to understand people and how the world is functioning more. Of course, this awareness leads to the next stage, which is purification. As you make sure that you are on target with what you're doing, you start to harmonize what was divided into oneness. When you speak, you start to speak truthfully, just as there is more truth inside you. When you act, you start to move more from good intentions or through clear goals, when before there was mixed intentions or confusion. With every moment that passes, this purification and this unification continues to unfold. This leads to a wonderfully beautiful new level of effectiveness in all the things you do. And through dedication and commitment, you will start to find that those things that used to hold you back start to disappear and integrate. When before, perhaps you weren't ready to embrace your full potential, power and responsibility. And now you start to step forth into the role you were always meant to take. This leads to an outer manifestation of your inner harmony. You see, part of full engagement with things is an enjoyment of things. So you will start to act with a sense of joyful harmony, working with how the world works. And by going with the flow and acting skillfully and harmoniously with the right timing, will, energy, and skillful application, the things that you can achieve through very little effort can seem miraculous. My name's Martin Faulks, and I hope this video is of great benefit to anyone who has the opportunity to watch it. Until next time, let's let every word, thought, and action count.